So students, nandito tayo ngayon sa solving quadratic equations by completing the square. So completing the square, meron din naman tinatawag na completing the square itself. So kinakailangan, alam muna natin kung paano kunin ito. So I'll give you an example. So determine a number that must be added to make each of the following a perfect square trinomial. Okay, ano ba ang perfect square trinomial? So gumawa ako ng video na factoring part 1. Nandun po yung review about perfect square trinomial. So, kung gusto nyo panoorin, lalagay ko ang link sa description sa baba. So, panoorin nyo na lang. So, sa example na to, equations ng x squared plus 10x plus blank, merong nawawalang terms. So, kinakailangan, hanapin natin yung pangatlong terms to make it a perfect square trinomial. So, paano ba siya makukuha? So, simple lamang, no? Yung middle term, kunin natin, and then i-divide natin by 2. I-divide lang natin by 2. What's next? So, just divide it. So, of course, it's 5. And then, the answer na 5, i-multiply natin by itself. So, that's gonna be 5 squared, or 5 to 2 power. And that's 25. And then, the 25, this will now be last term. And that's it. It becomes a perfect square trinomial. Alright. So, ganun lang siya kasimple. So now, isa pa. Bigyan ko pa kayo isa pang example. Let's have x squared minus 40x plus blank. So, same process yung ginawa natin kanina sa una. Kunin nyo lang yung middle term, i-divide natin by 2, and then yung sagot doon, i-squared lang natin. So, that would be, of course, it's 40 divided by 2 equals 20. And then, sa 20, squared lang natin, and that's 400. And the 400 will now be the last term, the missing last term. So, ganun lang siya kasimple. So, this is what we call the completing the square process na tinatawag. So, itong proseso na to, ito yung gagamitin natin to solve quadratic equation using completing the square. So, diretso na tayo. So, let's have some example. So, find the solutions of each of the following quadratic equations by completing the square. So, halimbawa, x squared plus 2x minus 8 equals 0. So, itong quadratic equation na to, isosolve natin to using the completing square process. So, paano yun? So, katulad kanina na ginawa natin doon sa dalawang example na ginawa ko. So, yung third term, hahanapin natin to make it a complete perfect square trinomial. Okay, igugrupo ko si x squared plus 2x plus blank because that would be the missing term na hanapin natin. And then minus 8 kasi si 8 hindi naman kasama doon. Alright, equals, and then I put another blank. So bakit may another blanks ulit? Remember, this is equation. Sa equation, when we add on the left side, we have to add on the right side. When we divide on the left side, we have to divide also on the right side. So kung ano yung gagawin natin sa left, ganun din ang gagawin natin sa right side. Kaya siya tinawag na equation because they are equal. So let's proceed. So same process. So gamitan natin na completing the square process. So hanapin natin yung blank, yung missing term. So kunin natin yung middle term, positive 2, divided by 2, and then the answer, of course, is squared natin. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, and then 1 squared is also 1. So yung 1, yun yung missing term. So lagay natin si 1 on the left side and on the right side of the equation. So laging dalawa ha, left at saka right. X squared plus 2x plus 1, iba-factor out na natin sila kasi sila ay perfect square trinomial. Again, kung nakalimutan po ninyo kung paano mag-factor ng perfect square trinomial, panoorin po ninyo yung solving quadratic equations by factoring part 1. Ilalagay ko po yung link sa description sa baba. So, ito na yan. So, pag pinactor out natin ang x squared plus 2x plus 1 by means of perfect square trinomial, it will become x plus 1 parenthesis squared minus 8 equals 1. So, see? Next, ituloy natin yung solutions. So, ano nang mangyayari ngayon? So, na-factor na natin sila using perfect square trinomial. Yung negative 8, ililipat na natin on the other side. So, since negative 8 to, it will become, of course, positive 8. Kaya naging 1 plus 8. Let's do the addition. So, 1 plus 8, of course, 9. And then on the left side, hindi nagbago. Yung pa din yun. So, x plus 1, open in parenthesis, raised to 2 power or squared. So, what will happen? So, pag nare-recall nyo pa ba, paano natin makakancel yung exponent 2 on the left side? Nare-recall nyo pa ba? Yes. Gagawin natin yung tinatawag na extracting the square. Kung nakalimutan nyo ulit yung proseso ng solving quadratic equation using extracting square root, panoorin nyo ulit yung aking video. I'll drop the link below. So that's it. Lalagyan lang natin sila ng, yes, radical symbol. Left and right side of the equation. So that's gonna be square root of x plus 1, close and open parenthesis squared, equals square root of 9. So, yun ang mangyari. So, you know what will happen, no? So, on the left side, it will become now x plus 1. As simple as that. Yung kabila naman, square root of 9, it will now become plus and minus 3. Siyempre, yung 1 ililipat natin on the other side para ma-solve out na natin. So, that's negative 1. So, ano na ngayon ang sagot? Ito na ba ang final value for x? Not yet. Since meron ba tayong plus and minus 3, technically, dalawang value niya. Isang positive 3 at isang negative 3. So, paghiwalay natin. So, we have x equals 3 minus 1. And of course, that's 2. And on the other hand, x equals negative 3 minus 1. And that is negative 4. So, sa makatuwid, ang ating values for the x ay x sub 1 is positive 2 and x sub 2 is negative 4. So, ganyan lang mag-solve ng quadratic equations using completing the square. Isa pa, I'll give you one more example. This one, n squared minus 8n equals 3. Okay, so at this point, since ito naman ay completing the square, yung constant na 3, since nasa right side siya, huwag na natin ilipat sa kabila. Alright? Kasi ang kailangan lang naman natin for the completing the square is the first term, the x squared, and the middle term, which is yung actually the negative 8n. Pero yung 3, dahil constant naman yun, pwede na siyang mag-stay put dun sa 3. So, pwede na tayong mag-start, pwede na natin simulan ang completing the square process. So, that would be parentheses. So, naglagay ulit ako ng separation. N squared minus 8n plus blank equals 3 plus blank. So, ganun ulit ha. So, once na maglagay tayo ng blank on the left side, we have to put another blank on the right side. Kasi kung ano idadagdag natin sa left, yun din ang idadagdag natin sa right side of the equation. Let's proceed. So, that would be, syempre, 8 to. Divided by 2, it's 4. And 4 squared is 16. So, 16 is the last term to make it a perfect square trinomial. So, 16 ay dadagdag natin on the left side at 16 naman on the right side. So, n squared, negative 8n plus 16 equals 3 plus 16. So, using again the perfect square trinomial process na factoring, so, ang factor ng n squared minus 8n plus 16 is n minus 4, parenthesis, okay, so 2 power. And on the right side, 3 plus 16 is, syempre, it's 19. Next, tuloy natin. Katulad ng ginawa natin kanina, we will use the subtracting the square, square root. Okay, so, bigyan lang natin ang radical symbol on the left and right side. So, that would be square root of n minus 4 squared equals square root of 19. So, sa left side, napakadali na lang yan. Matitira na lang is n minus 4. On the right side, kung mapapansin niyo, that is square root of 19. Actually, it's a decimal point. Merong decimal. Hindi siya whole number. Not like 16. Ang square root of 16 is positive and negative 4. Pero ang 19, meron siyang decimal point. So, ano ang ilalagay natin na final value? The final value will be still the same. It's plus and minus square root of 19. Yes, yun po ang ilalagay natin as the value. Ano lang next? Siyempre, i-transpose natin sa negative 4 sa right side, magiging plus 4. And that's it. Actually, yan yun. Actually, yan na ang sagot. No more answers. We cannot add square root of 19 tsaka 4 or subtract, di ba? Kasi hindi sila pwedeng pagsamahin dahil may radical symbol. Si 19, si 4 is a whole number. So, ang sagot na natin will be, yes, n sub 1 is the square root of 19 plus 4 and n sub 2 is negative square root of 19 plus 4. So, dalawa pa din. Isang positive at isang negative value. So, ganun lamang po mag-solve ng quadratic equation using completing the square. Right?